Hi everyone, Danny Bader here, and I'm excited to welcome you back to yet another episode of our podcast, 11 Minutes to Inspiration, where we offer you information, some interviews with some really cool people, and simply observations for your consideration that are all designed to support you in being inspired to continue creating a happy and fulfilling life. Because after all, that's why we're here, right? Hi everybody, it's Danny Bader here, and one of the great things about my job and my work that I really value is the wonderful people that I meet, and then those people that become friends. And I have a guy here with me that I met probably back in January, Mike Duffy, and has become a great friend, has a good story, and I wanted to spend some time with Mike and let him give you some insights into this thing called life. Mike's the executive director at the Lyman House here in Wilmington, Delaware, which is 4 homes, 2 women and 2 men, that support residents as they battle the journey back from addiction. So really good work. I've become involved and thankful to be helping these guys. So I'm going to ask Mike a couple questions and let him give you some insight. So let's get into it. Mike, just tell the folks your journey.
So just quickly, as quick as I can, my journey is I grew up in Philadelphia, working middle class neighborhood. Always a lot of dysfunction in the neighborhood and the families, and lived a good life, good childhood. Through high school, just partying like the normal, you know, what you would think was normal.
Like lots of us.
Lots of us. Never really had a lot of direction. What I wanted to do. My dad passed when I was 12. He was told he had 6 months to live. So looking back, that's a sort of big part. I think big part of sort of my journey, and I missed. I didn't have a lot of direction, and I think it stemmed from that. And the partying turned into an addiction, and from when I was 26 to 32, I was in and out of treatment facilities trying to get sober. Never really wanted to get sober, and so I never did. Then when I was 33, life was a mess, lost everything, went into treatment for I think the 8th time, and something was different. There was a shift. In recovery, they talk about a spiritual experience, and I firmly believe that it was not something that I did. I think I had that spiritual experience because at that point my thinking changed. And I really started to view things different. Kind of absorbed the process and treatment. Then came to Lyman House, in 2001, December 17, 2001, I came to Lyman House, and came through the program, and it's a great program. It gave me the opportunity to be still, really sit and focus on the recovery work and get a foundation of recovery. Moved on from here, was working at the Boys and Girls Club in Delaware. I stayed in Wilmington area. I was working at a job, and then got a call from a mentor of mine that had worked here, and he was like, "Hey, did you ever think of working at Lyman House?" And I really didn't, but I was open, and I took a chance and started working here and became a certified addictions counselor, and worked here for 10 years. Always had the vision, and I wanted to really lead the organization. I'm really passionate about it. I knew that our director was going to be retiring, and I wanted to put myself in position to lead the organization. So, fortunately, a year ago, the board of directors gave me the opportunity to step in and be the director. And for me to sit here now and have the opportunity to lead this amazing organization is just something that's a blessing, and I'm grateful. And it happened really from me just being open and putting myself in position. That's how.
And you do it well, man. You do it well. Tell me, when you had that spiritual intervention, do you remember like a specific time, or did it kind of just show up, or was it that lightning bolt kind of thing coming from heaven?
You know what? No. And I don't even know that I recognized it until maybe 5 years in.
Until you got past it,
Until I got past
Sure.
it.
Sure.
I didn't really recognize it, but I think the further along I go, and I'm able to sort of just look back, it's like gets more and more powerful.
Yeah.
To be able to recognize that it wasn't. I had tried 6-7 times. I don't know. I didn't like consciously make a shift in my thinking. So it was subtle, and it wasn't something like the burning bush that they talk about.
No. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. There's a quote, Abraham Lincoln, one of my favorite, and he had a tough life, Lincoln, right? Lost some kids, lost business and all, and had slavery in the Civil War. And Lincoln said, "I've been driven to my knees many times by the overwhelming conviction I had nowhere else to go." So we seek help sometimes in the worldly space, which is really important with other people and with centers and those kinds of things. But sometimes you just got to drop to your knees and say, "Hey, help me out, man."
What? When you don't have anything else to do, what the heck?
That's it. That is it. So listen, you and I, when we first met, and I came down, and Cindy was with us, and I gave you some books, Jackrabbit books and T-shirts, Back from Heaven's Front Porch. What from that, and I remember we met, you said that the messages that were in the book were consistent with what the work you were doing here. So as you just talked, you mentioned stillness, being still, right? You mentioned vision. So what are maybe two of those things that from Back from Heaven's Front Porch kind of anchored with your work here?
So I'll just let me just go back up a little bit.
Just you and me talking about
just how things happen. It's we were we have a great board of directors, and the head of our program committee and we were looking to sort of enhance the program with the residents and sort of give them a little bit of more insight outside of the day-to-day stuff we do at Lyman House. And Cindy calls me, "Hey, wait till you hear, I met this guy, I think he's going to be great." And I was like, "All right, cool, bring, let's chat, see what he's got." And you came in, and you started talking about the book, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool." So just listening to your story and your process and what you're doing, I was like, this is going to work, because there's so many similarities to your message and then the 12-step model of recovery and the work that we do and what we try to do with the guys. So I look at even just how we sort of our paths cross. That's a powerful thing for me, because it's like, I don't know how this stuff happened. You know what I mean? But
that's the beauty of it.
But it happens and it works. And then I read the book, and I think the most important thing is when you talk about in the book changing your thinking.
Right.
And you know what? We have the ability to change our perspective on things and really start to change how our thinking is. And that's just so critical to addiction and early recovery. The thinking gets so messed up by addiction, and it's really backwards in a lot of ways. So the message to really that you can change that thinking.
Your
And
beliefs,
your beliefs,
Right.
you know, and,
Yeah, we talked
and it's all about how you're thinking and looking at things. And that it's so important in the early stages, because that's where it starts. You have to sort of almost like kind of retrain your brain.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, because the addictive thinking just is constant negativity and thinking the worst. So
And a lot of low self-esteem, right?
oh, sure,
It's all rooted from the past. I screwed up. It's my fault.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so the parallels to were something that were really significant to me. So that's what really was exciting to me, to have you come in and work with the guys, and just in talking with the guys after you did that workshop with them. It was real, you know. And it's important for them to sort of have something that they can sort of put their arms around,
Sure, and their head around.
you know, sort of real life stuff, you know, that they can say, yeah, okay, that makes sense, and it really resonated pretty big with me.
Yeah, I remember we did the exercise, Mike, when we did a workshop with, I guess we had about 20 men, right?
Yeah.
20 men. And we did the exercise where I took them 6 months out. And some of them didn't want to go that far. They want to go 2 months, some want a year. But that whole notion of the vision, it's been around a long time. Just write a letter back to yourself from the future, predicting what happens in that space. And it was really cool when they got into it, man. And to debrief it, some of them say, man, it provides me a little bit of hope. And then we talked about the difference between hope and trust, right? Because hope is just, you hope everything. Trust is much more powerful.
Yeah.
So that was a cool exercise.
It was really great. It was great.
Good. So Lyman House, everybody, Limen House in Wilmington, Delaware. They're doing some wonderful work. Certainly, if somebody in your life is struggling with addiction, you might want to take a look and look up the phone number and give a call.
Yeah.
Chat with Mike.
Yeah, well, you know, lymanhouse.org. Really amazing programs. The opportunities we give to men and women is it's really unique, you know, and how we holistically come in and treat everybody on an individual basis, and really give them the time to develop a framework where they can really change their life, change their way of thinking about things.
Absolutely.
So we're grateful for all the support and the people that care enough about Lyman House and helping people with their addiction to be able to do the work.
Sure. Yeah, and if you're looking to donate, certainly you're open to that as well.
Yeah, there's a tab on the website.
There you go. There's our plug. But if not, maybe just keep all these folks in their prayers, because they're doing some really good work, and the residents as well. So I know every time I come down here, it's just good, man. You see some of the residents, and it's just a good feeling. So let's do this, Mike. As we wrap up, everybody has their challenges, right? In life. Sometimes it's an addiction challenge. Sometimes you lose somebody close to you. Recently we've seen where 4 families have lost some young people. So what are 2 things that you would offer to people to consider, as we move through life and the challenges that we have?
Yeah, so I think that you have to really have a belief that things can get better, right. And hope, and really trust the work that you're doing, because you know what, you gotta, I wouldn't say that it's not hard work. You have to put in the work, and to do if you're going to do the work, you got to believe in something.
Sure.
And you have to start to have hope, and I think that's there. It's just a matter of people being able to have the time and the ability to embrace that.
Right.
So you have to have that to work through any problems you have.
Yeah. And then, like we always talk about, is just create some of that stillness and let something bigger than us do whatever we call something bigger than us, right?
Yeah, I mean,
let it do the work as well.
I mean, I look at my own personal journey, and it really, from getting sober to where I'm at now, it really has been about sort of putting myself in position to, and being open and sort of challenge myself to get to where I'm at now. And you know, just kind of trust that it's all going to work out. Just me just sort of putting one foot in front of the other, doing the work, and go pushing myself through some uncomfortable stuff. And just having the faith that it's going to work out, you know. Faith, and it doesn't always work out the way you want it to, but I think that if you just keep put one foot in front of the other and do the best you can do, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I was just reading something yesterday morning about faith, and the definition faith is belief without proof. So your faith is really the beliefs that you hold about getting through the challenge, but don't look for proof. Right? Don't look for proof. Just trust. Get clear on your vision. Watch your beliefs and your mindset. You know, create some stillness and let the bigger power of this universe settle in with us, and then press on. Right?
Yeah, very true. You know, you don't always see the results of the work you're doing. You know, so
right. All right, Michael.
All right.
You know, I love you.
Good stuff, man.
Good man. All right, we're gonna play golf too.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
See you guys.
All right, see you.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us for another episode of 11 Minutes to Inspiration. I thought it was just great. I had a really good time doing this one. I'll trust you gained value and insight as you continue to create and harness the tremendous power of inspiration. And as always, I'm wishing you much happiness and fulfillment on this wonderful journey called life.